What is up, guys? 10VivMan here again, bringing another exciting Black and White 2 Wi-Fi battle. Here's an NU game that I had with Lax's Life on the Smogon Wi-Fi Battle Finder, and he is actually running a lot of PU stuff, and to be honest, it kind of caught me off guard, but I see Riolu, and I note that as a threat. A big threat at that, and I'm running one of a team that I really like to be, it's just fun to use because of Kangaskhan and stuff, so, but without further ado, let's get this battle started. And since he had no ground types, I figured Electabuzz would probably be my best bet to lead with, because Electabuzz is fun, and Scarf, and it's all that fun stuff. So, he's going to lead off with the Tentacool, as I'm going to lead off with the Electabuzz. And, since I'm Scarfed, and he's most likely fully specially defensive, I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch, and try to get some decent damage on this thing. And it does a decent chunk, I guess. I want to say about a third, as I switch out. I believe I'm going out into my Kangaskhan here. Now, he's definitely relying on hazards because of Riolu, so it gets that first layer of Toxic Spikes up. I really don't want any hazards on the field, to be honest, so I really need Wartortle to come out as soon as it can, so, but anyway, now he's going to bring out his Meganium to take a Fake Out, and, I don't know if I've specified this in the past, but this is a Silk Scarf Kangaskhan, which means, that way I don't get Life Orb recoil, because that way I don't detract from Kangaskhan's good natural bulk, and I can really spam Fake Out and Double Edge without any recoil, so that's pretty nice. And now predicting the either Leech Seed or Toxic, I'm going to go on to my Exeggutor, as he does end up going for the Toxic, which I kind of find counterproductive on a team that revolves around Toxic Spikes, but, it's whatever. But, anyway, this Meganium actually turns out to be a very nasty threat later on in the match, and I'll show you why, so it's got a move on it that you would not expect usually. So, anyway, he's going to switch up Meganium and go out into his Mawile, anticipating either one of my stab moves, but I'm going to go straight for the Sleep Powder, wanting to get anything on his team to sleep, so I catch the Mawile, and off to Dreamland it goes, so that's pretty nice. And this is actually a Choice Specs Exeggutor, so yes, I'm locked into Sleep Powder, so now I'm forced to switch out, and I go out into my Wartortle, hopefully getting rid of those hazards and things. So, yeah, I get poisoned from the Toxic Spikes, which I don't mind getting naturally poisoned, I guess, or, regularly poisoned, because, it's not toxic. So, but now here's a nice play on me. I actually predict Gastly to come in here, and, yeah, I actually have foresight on this Wartortle, so I'm able to identify the Gastly, which is pretty freaking nice, and now I can get the spin off for free next turn without any repercussions, so that's pretty nice. As he actually turns out to be a Choice Scarfed Gastly with Venoshock, and that's a pretty interesting method because, goodness gracious, he's got Riolu trying to capitalize on hazards, and now there's this Wartortle, there's this Gastly that's abusing Venoshock, so, but now he's actually going to withdraw here. I really don't know why. I think he just wants to get those hazards back up, as I actually, oops, sorry, I hit the camera, but anyway, he just wants to get those Toxic Spikes back up. So I go for the Scald, hopefully getting a burn on the Tentacool and the Switch, and unfortunately I don't because this game hates me, and I'm going to die to poison. So down goes my Spinner, so now I'm going to be extra cautious when it comes to his Mawile and his Tentacool to prevent, hazards getting up and stuff. So now comes my Kangaskhan, and he's going to go out into his Meganium just to take a hit because he doesn't want Tentacool to die. So I'm going to go straight for the Double Edge this turn, hoping to get as much damage off the Meganium as I can. And it does a very nice chunk, even though, it's not Life Orb or anything. And that's probably a max defensive Meganium, which sucks. Now, here I was contemplating my move for a bit, because I didn't know. He'd probably end up going for Toxic or Leech Seed. So I'm like, you know what, I really don't care. I just want to get this thing down, because it's being a pain in my butt. So I'm just going straight for the Double Edge. And unfortunately for me, he actually turns out to carry the freaking counter. And I'm like, oh, damn it. This really sucks a lot. And my Kangaskhan dies. So I'm like, oh, really? Who the hell runs can counter Meganium anymore? But Meganium can use it, I guess. I just don't find it viable, really, at all on Meganium anymore. Because Leech Seed and Toxic are just so useful, I don't see a point in running counter on any of those moves. But anyway, he's going to withdraw his Meganium, kind of questionably. I don't know why I just didn't leave it in it to die, because I guess he predicted me to Volt Switch. As I just go for the end up for the T-Bolt, and I score a crit on the Tentacool, which it mattered, but at the same time, since, he was stuck in, it didn't matter in the long run. So at least I don't have to worry about Toxic Spikes anymore, so that's pretty pretty handy. But out comes the Riolu. I just want to stay in and blast this thing of a Thunderbolt because it's, Riolu is a pain in my butt, and I hate it, and it's a piece of crap, and a lot of other things. So, definitely one of the cheapest Pokemon in the game, in my opinion. It's seriously cheap. Roar Copycat is one of the most cheapest strategies I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, he actually has a Sash, and he has Reversal, and I'm like, oh my goodness, all these gimmicks are kicking my butt. And that really stinks. Now, here's the thing. It can even try to... If I didn't get that Paralyze on Riolu, I might have gotten swept, in all honesty, because he can copycat that and continually throw out Reversal, so that's kind of stinks. But luckily, getting the Paralyze, my Mach Punch is going to outspeed him, his Prankster, which is really good, and that's great. I get to catch the Riolu right off right out of the way. So... Now out comes the Ghastly, and I knew I couldn't die to any one hit. I kind of anticipated Trick, but I really didn't care, because I figured, an Ice Punch would kill Ghastly even if he Eviolite, and unfortunately it doesn't, so that sucks. Yeah, so now I'm locked into Ice Punch, which sucks even more. I honestly should have gone for Knockoff, but at the same time, it still would have been, the Eviolite wouldn't have been knocked off until the damage would have been done, so I guess at the same time it wouldn't have mattered. So, now out comes the Mawile, and since I'm locked into Ice Punch, I've got to switch out and go into my Regirock. And, as he's just falling asleep with Mawile, so that's fine by me. And, I think I can take this turn to set up Stealth actually, as he goes back out into his Meganium. And, as I, go for the Stealth Rocks, I was really hoping at this point that Stealth Rocks would finish off his Ghastly. But, it's unfortunately for me, it turns out they don't. So I'm like, oh, this sucks. This really, really sucks. And I'm anticipating a Giga Drain, so I've got to switch out. Got to go back out into my Exeggutor. And, yeah, Specs Exeggutor is a thing. As he actually ends up going for the Aromatherapy, which really freaking sucks, because now Mawile wakes up. And it becomes even more of an issue because it could be like a Sheer Force, Life Orb set. But I figure it most likely has Stealth Rocks. So... I wouldn't understand Riolu if it just, copycatting and roaring for Toxic Spikes, so, but anyway, now he's going to get off a Giga Drain on me, which is actually boosted by Overgrowth, so that's going to do a pretty nice chunk, and, I actually anticipated him to switch out into Mawile here, which is why I go for the, Specs Leaf Storm, because I knew it would probably KO Mawile even with the resistance, so I went for Leaf Storm, and unfortunately that only ends up biting me in the back, because, after Meganium goes down, now Mawile gets a free switch in, and, I didn't know if Mawile would outspeed, because I do run speed, Specs Exeggutor runs some speed investment, but, unfortunately he turns out to be faster, and he's going to nail me with Ice Beam, and I'm like, what? Ice Beam on Mawile? I mean, I can understand Fire Blast, but I don't understand Ice Beam. I really don't, unless you hate Altaria that much, I guess, but, okay, anyway... Out comes, he's going to switch out fearing the Earthquake, and he's going to go out into his Ghastly once again. Now, I contemplated going for Stone Edge, but I figured, screw it, because, I want that Mawile is a problem, especially if it has Iron Head, so I've got to take precaution against it, and now he brings you Ghastly, it's not dead, so now I'm just going to go out into my Girder, and I got to try to take some hits here. So he's going to go for the Thunderbolt, and it's going to do a pretty nice chunk because I don't have Eviolite anymore, which stinks, and people do forget that Gas actually has a base 100 special attack, so it's going to do a pretty hefty chunk to me. Does almost half, and I'm going to live with 40 HP, knock him out of an Ice Punch, because I don't want to go for knockoff, obviously. So it's now 2-2 with Ghastly going down. He still has an Eevee, and he still has the Mawile. Now, I figure the Eevee is a choice-banded one. If it has Dig, I could be in trouble, but otherwise I really don't care. I'm just leaving in Girder at this point as Death Fodder because Eevee, or Regirock completely walls Eevee, unless it carries Dig, but why would you carry Dig? So, but, I was kind of at the back of my head, oh no, Dig is a potential, the guy that's, all the, sets this guy's running, yeah, Dig Eevee could be a thing. So, but Girder goes down to an Ice Beam as I do kind of damage with Ice Punch. But anyway, going to bring up my last Pokemon, which is the Regirock. And I know I can take at least one Iron Head or Ice Beam, and he actually doesn't go for Iron Head, so I'm guessing he just doesn't have it. Which really, really didn't make sense to me at all. I mean, I really don't think it would have mattered. I probably would have lived, I want to say, with like maybe 100 HP. But I'm just going to take him out of a Drain Punch, and down goes the Mawile. So now I'm at a very comfortable amount of HP, and his last Pokemon is the Eevee. So, yeah, and unless this thing has Dig, it's going to be GG because he cannot hit me with any adaptability boost in return. So he's going to go for the Bite. It's going to do absolutely squat diddly, and I'm just going to be able to take this thing out with a Drain Punch for the very narrow 1-0 in my favor. So that's pretty fantastic. It was a pretty good game. Lax's life. It's just, there's a difference between having fun and then being a kind of a douchey person because you have Riolu, and that's a douche move. Ugh. Sorry, but Riolu equals institution, in my opinion. So, and well, yeah, that was the match. It was a fun game overall, though. But so, it's actually the second game of upload I'm going to narrate today. I'm trying to be a bit more, I want to say, frequent in my uploads. I'm going to try to narrate as much as possible on my days off whenever I get a good battle. So, but anyway, rate, comment, sub it later, guys.